Welcome back to the Daily Mastermind. I'm George Wright III. I'm your host, here with your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and education. Today we're going to start out with our second prosperity pillar in the 12-pillar series. Yesterday we talked about the first one, which is I create my life, and prosperity pillar number 2 is the prosperity pillar that says I take personal responsibility. I take personal responsibility. Now that is a really big one, and it's difficult for a lot of people. You know, Tony Robbins said, it's in your moments of decision that you shape your destiny. And there's no bigger decision, as far as I'm concerned, than taking personal responsibility. Now there's a big difference between creating your life, which is principle number 1, this first pillar, and taking personal responsibility for your life. There's a huge difference. Making the decision to take responsibility for your life is a very empowering decision. It's why I make such a big deal about it. You know, you may be very proactive with your life and in creating your life, but are you taking responsibility for your life? Because responsibility is not just a success principle; it's also a very important, empowering concept. If you think about that, creating your life is a proactive thing, right? But taking responsibility for your life and knowing that your life is where it is because your thoughts and your actions have gotten you there goes far above the idea of creating your life. So one way to start taking responsibility is to stop focusing on problems and start focusing on solutions. See, so many of us right now are so caught up in the problems that we're facing that we're not taking responsibility in creating solutions. It's not about where you've gotten to in your life. It's where you're going. And being empowered by taking responsibility for your life is the first step. That's going to lead you to have more control over the outcome of your life. Because, you see, we may not have control over our circumstances. Most times. It's a deeper conversation to talk about how you may be in those circumstances because of your thoughts and actions. But we may not have control over our circumstances, but we most certainly have control over our decisions and over our view of our life and the outcome of our life, way more than you think you might. So when you focus on responsibility and solutions in your life rather than the problems, you will start creating more solutions and you will create more happiness in your life. I mean, think about it for a minute. If you believe that you're responsible for your life, then you can begin to increase and believe that the facts of things that happen in your life are all related to your thoughts, your actions. You can create your best life regardless of the circumstances. So that's a really, really huge piece of the puzzle there. So let's begin today to take a little bit more responsibility. I believe it's important for you to be able to both take responsibility and create your life at the same time. So here's something I want to draw a distinction for you on. There is a difference between a lot of people that make a decision to create and take responsibility and those that make a commitment to take responsibility. You have to be able to both make a decision and a commitment to be responsible for situations in your life. So you can begin today by making a decision, right? I will take personal responsibility for my life, for my actions, and for the circumstances in my life. But I want you to go a step further with me, and I want you to make a commitment to be responsible for your life. A lot of us, like I said, we make the decision, we start going down the path, but we don't really stay committed to it. And making the decision today, but also making the commitment will be huge. I promise you that several amazing things are going to happen to you in your life. In fact, many amazing things are going to happen to you in your life when you do this. And I will tell you this, I promise you that most great leaders are all ones that took responsibility for their actions and for their life in general. They don't blame other people. They don't blame circumstances. They don't blame the situations they're in. When you do this, there's a power that you're going to see with this commitment. Now, keep in mind, I believe the amazing things are going to start to happen when you take responsibility for your life, and I'm going to just kind of explain to you why I think that's the case. First, what will happen is your lens and your perspective in your life will start to change. You're going to start to view situations differently. You're going to view situations with more optimism, let's say. You're going to view them through a different lens that allows you to identify the lessons that you've learned. It allows you to identify solutions rather than the problem. And then you'll be able to move forward rather than dwelling on the problem and the past. See, the best way to stay committed and present is to be responsible. You're going to create solutions in your life, and even though your circumstances may not be within your control, I think you're going to find that your circumstances will start to turn out completely differently when you take that responsibility. And one of the ways you do this is, Stephen Covey, for example, with his principles of successful people, has talked about taking a minute before you react to something like a stimulus or an event or something that's happened, a situation in your life. So how you react in that split second after something happens, when you take responsibility, how you react will change, because how you react to anything that happens in your life will be the difference between having an average life or a successful, prosperous life. You have to learn not to be reactive in your life. You have to learn to be proactive and intentional with the way you respond or handle situations that come up. And this is something that will be a direct result of taking responsibility in your life, because you're going to take responsibility for the outcomes of the situations. So what are ways that you can take responsibility? Well, the way you can become more responsible for your life is to be more objective. Train yourself to step back in any given situation. Train yourself to take an objective view of situations rather than a responsive view, right? Maybe this situation that you're in is happening for a reason. Maybe it's happening for your benefit. Maybe there's something, a different way that you can handle it that will also create a different outcome. Many of us have had situations that are very difficult that we've been in, and when we look back on them, they really weren't as difficult as we thought. Maybe we learned something from it. Maybe something turned out for our benefit rather than, it being such a catastrophic event when it was happening. You have to take an objective point of view in any given situation. That's one way that you can be responsible. Another way you can take responsibility is to literally tell yourself in any situation, hey, stop, wait, I take responsibility. I don't care what they did or she did or he did or the situation happened or whatever. By simply making the statement and that decision, it's setting a very powerful intention that you create your life and you're responsible, which gives you that empowerment that you can control the outcome, because you can at least control the way you react. Your intentions are very powerful. You have to understand that your intentions are extremely powerful. I want you to know that I believe that your intentions and decisions can give you power in your life. I also believe that you need to give yourself more credit. Sometimes, we just don't give ourselves enough credit or patience and understanding. We're so hard on ourselves, partly because we feel like other people are judging us, but also because we judge ourselves. Many mentors of mine over the years have said to me, you need to give yourself more credit for your intentions, not just your actions. So try to do that. Give yourself some credit for your intentions, not just your results, for example. I got the results, I didn't get the results. A lot of us judge ourselves and our lives and our jobs and our success by our results. We need to learn to have more patience and more understanding and give ourselves credit for having the intention of taking personal responsibility. That can be just as powerful for us in our lives. And so these are things that I want you to be able to do. I want you to start to implement in your life. And I want you to be able to not only proactively create your life, like the first pillar, but take responsibility. Stop playing the victim role. Stop blaming others and realize that you can create your own economy. You can make the decisions. You can make the commitment. You can take control of how you respond and your view and your viewpoint of a situation. Also, when you step back and take a more objective view, sometimes the emotion fades and you can get a little bit more logical about that. And that's why you get solutions. So change your perception and you'll be able to give some major shift in what your life is doing. So I want to leave you with this. I want to give you a strategy that you can do right now, something very tangible that you can implement with this principle in your life. So what I want you to do is this. I want you to identify a situation that you are currently struggling with. Maybe it's just something at work. Maybe it's at home. Maybe it's a relationship. You're not getting along with someone or you're having bad communication. Find something, and it doesn't have to be a big thing. You don't understand. Sometimes the little things turn out to be the big things. It's all about developing the habit. So start with something that you feel like maybe you're not seeing the result that you want and you've seen some failures or suffered some setbacks. And I want you to challenge yourself and identify this situation, just one, and decide how you can take personal responsibility for this area. And that's what I want you to do is once you've identified that, the second thing is I want you to decide that you're going to take responsibility no matter what. no matter who's to blame, and watch what happens. You're going to find that solutions will present themselves, and it'll prevent you from creating more challenges and problems. You'll feel more empowered and happier. How empowering is it to just say, I'm going to take responsibility. I'm not going to allow someone to have the power and control over my life, or a situation to get me down, or whatever it is. Identify that situation and take responsibility for it today. Exercise your choice to be responsible and the co-creator of your life. You have greatness inside of you. I believe that it's never too late for you to start living the life that you're meant to live. So let's continue on this path to unleash your true potential and create your best life. And try this for me or with me today, and let's see what happens. This is the key. I want you to learn and practice these principles as we go through them. So this was prosperity pillar number 2. I take personal responsibility. And join me tomorrow and we'll talk about a really good one, which is pillar number 3. I act in spite of my mood. I appreciate you listening today. I look forward to talking with you more tomorrow. Hit me up on the Daily Mastermind at Facebook or Instagram. Message me. Let me know what you're struggling with. I'd be more than happy to help you out. And I respond to all of those messages myself. So have an amazing day, and I'll talk with you soon.